Okay, so in this session, we are going to discuss about string function and how to create it in Tableau. So mostly related to string functions in detail. So in earlier session, we have discussed about number functions and how to write the beginning session of string functions. So now we are going to see few other functions, how to create it in Tableau. So there are some functions where you can use to replace the existing names, or if you want to keep something else instead of the other names. So let's take sample superstore data. So I'll just take customer name information. So now we are going to discuss about replace function. So if we want to write any calculation, let's say, so earlier in the previous session we have discussed about split function and all. So how to split customer name? I want the second part. So what is the separation I need to mention? Separation is based on the spaces. Okay, and I want this second part, so that's why I'm writing second one. And I want to add dot in between, and I want to take the next name. So basically what I'm trying to do is I want to take the last name. In customer name I want to put the last name in the starting dot. So Bergman dot is first name is Aaron, so Bergman dot Aaron I want to put it. So split customer name, and the separation is based on the space between these two names, so that you need to keep. And you want the first first part, so you need to mention which part you want to. So you want the first part or the second part. So last, to get the last name you can put the second part, and to get the first part you need to mention one. And I also want to include, so I'm just trying to create a email ID. Okay, so with this I have created an email ID with the name. Say okay and use this email ID. So now here I can see, so bergman.aaron@gmail.com. So I have taken the second split, and I have included dot and used the first split, and I have added @gmail.com. Okay, so now that we have created this email ID, now I want to show how to replace. So @gmail.com, I want to replace it with @yahoo.com. So the replace function. So I want to show how to replace something which is already there. So I will take replace function. Okay, so which column I want to replace? Email ID column. And what I want to replace? I want to replace @gmail.com with @yahoo.com. So this is the syntax that you need to write for replace function. Okay, so I want to replace @gmail.com with @yahoo.com, and replace email ID, you can say. And say okay, say apply, and use this replace email ID next to this email ID. Okay, so wherever there is @gmail.com, now you can see @yahoo.com. So this way you can change it for all the names. Okay, so not only @yahoo.com, so whatever which is, let's say in the calculation which is showing here, so you can replace ION with ED. So calculation will become calculated. So likewise, even I'll show you one more example. So replace customer name. So in customer name, it will check for the customer name column. And I want to replace this man. So wherever you see man, I want that to replace with men. Or let's say den. Okay, let's put den. Okay, and replace function to say apply. I'll put next to this customer name. So man is replaced with den, den. So this way, I'll just put some separation also. I'll put some spaces. So you can see that den is coming, and this spaces is also coming. So this way we can make use of this replace function to replace something which is already there, and we want to replace with a new value. So at the rate gmail.com, if you have some email IDs with, let's say your organization name changed from one name to other name, and every time you can't change it for every single value. So at a time you can change it for all the values. So at the rate organization.com to some other name. So this way we can make use of replace function. Now let's discuss about write function. So, so I want to see what is the uh, email ID or what is the last 4 digits or 5 digits. So let's say this email ID is ending with gmail.com and these email IDs are ending with yahoo.com. So I want to get the last name. So whether it is Gmail or Yahoo, I want to know that. So to know that information, I will use write function, write function and email ID. I want the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I want last 9 digits, last 9 letters. So I can say write function and say OK. So put the write function next to the email ID. Okay, so this is the value. So to get this gmail.com value, so I can just write this thing. So I'm getting the last 9 letters. In the same way, you can write it for yahoo.com as well. So let's write function, write function 2. So now I want to write function 2 for this replaced email ID. So include that replaced email ID, comma. So how many letters you want? So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here also you need 9 letters. So mention that 9 and say OK. And put this next to replace email ID. So you can see yahoo.com. So this way we can get the information of what email ID it is. So that information we can get it. So that's about write function and rtrim and space. So let's discuss about rtrim. To remove spaces before the letters, let's say I'll just enter some data. I'll have some names. So customer names are like Aaron Bergman, Art Foster, Arthur Gainer. So these are my customer names. So sometimes what happens is the data might not be clean. So sometimes what you will have is you will have spaces in bit like this, or you will have spaces after this name, or you will have spaces before this, have spaces after this, like this, and save this file. Save it in the desktop and say OK. New session 9. Okay, so now let's connect this file to Tableau. So Microsoft Excel session 9. Okay, so you see the spaces over here. So which will not look good while you keep it in the dashboard. So let's say worksheet. So you see the names are not coming in a normal order. So you can write few edit alias. Okay, so there are spaces after this also. Okay, so to remove the spaces, we use a function called trim. R trim is to remove the spaces in the right side, and L trim is to remove the spaces in the left side. Say apply and use calculation one. So right side spaces are got removed, and let's say if you use L trim and say apply. So whatever the spaces which are there in the left side, those will get removed. So this way we can make use of this function. And if you use normal trim function, this will remove left and right side spaces. And now let's see about space function. Okay, so normally if you want to add space between two names, or let's say take this email ID. So email ID calculation, we'll go to email ID calculation, say edit. Okay, so normally I have added dot here. So instead of dot, I want to put space, say apply. So you can see the space. So let's say I want to put 10 spaces. So I need to count 10 and I need to put 10 spaces. But instead of that, what I can do is I can use a space function. I can use a space function and I can mention space as 10. So when I do that, so it will count for 10 spaces and it will give you 10 spaces in between. Or if you mention 100 spaces, so click on apply. So it will give you 100 spaces. So you are not able to see this value because of 100 spaces. Yeah. So there are 100 spaces between first name and the last name. So that way you don't need to count any number of spaces. You can just mention how many spaces that you want. Say apply. Yeah. But as it is the email ID, I just want to put dot. So I'll keep single dot. Say apply. So that's how we can make use of space function. And yeah, we have discussed about split function. So now let's discuss about starts with. Okay, and I'll take customer name. Okay, so I want to see how many number of customers whose name starts with B, A and B, C, and accordingly. So to know that, I will create a calculation field and I'll write if customer name, sorry, starts with customer name. So I want to see the customer names whose names are starting with A. Okay, so I will put letter A. Okay, so if this condition is true, then I want to represent it as starts with A. Starts with A. And likewise, I will take, I will write else if, and I'll take this condition. So likewise, I will take it for B, C, D as well. So I'll take it for B. And I'll copy this. So I'll write it for some of the names or some of the letters C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. And here also I will change it to C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Else others. So whatever is others, you can put others. end. Say okay. Okay, so this is about starts with A. So now I want to see who are the customers starting with A. I'll put it next to this. Okay, so there are, okay, these many people whose names are starting with A. So Aaron Bergman, Aaron Hawkins. So you can see these many names. So let's say I want to take the count. So you can directly right click on this and take count distinct and right click on this and make it discrete. Okay, so there are 64 customers whose names starting with A, and there are 57 customers whose names are starting with B. So this way, if you want to take the count of customers whose names are starting with A or B or C like that. So this way you can do a higher level categorization of the customer names. And there are others like LMNO, PQRST, UVXXYZ. So there are 348 customers whose names are starting with other letters. So that's about starts with. And now we'll see the trim function is to remove the spaces left and right. So R trim is to remove from the right side, L trim is to remove from the left side. And how to create string function. So we have seen how to create the string functions and all. So right function is to get the right letters. So let's say if you have a combination of letters. So let's take an order ID. So in order ID, we'll have different IDs combined together. So here you see, so the first two letters giving us the information of which country it is. Okay, so it is Canada or US. And the middle four letters is giving the information of which year it is, 2020 or 2021. So order ID is a combination of country, year, and there is one order ID. So here we can do a split. Here we can do a split, or you can use the right function to get the right details and left function to get the information of Canada, US. And I'll show you, first of all, I'll show you left function. So left of order ID, I want the country details. So if I want to know the country details, I want to see the two values. So the first two letters are giving the information of the country, whether it is Canada or US. So I can see that. So say apply, left. Okay, so you can see the first two letters, Canada and US, you can see it here. So this way we can separate. So in this scenario, you can say they have combined country, year, and the ID. So by using this left function, we can separate the first two letters. And let's use right function to get the ID. So there is an ID 100867. So that ID you can create. Abbu kalo unna. Okay, so that way, let's get the right details. So order ID. And I want to get the 6 letters. So this ID is of 6 letters. And I will get the 6 letters information. So write order ID and say apply. Write order ID, put it here. So you can get the order ID. So that's about order ID. And now let's get the middle information. So to get the middle information, which is whichever year it is. So to get that information, we can use mid function. Okay, so mid of. So as we need to get the middle information, so you can write mid of order ID and comma. So where it is starting? 1, 2, 3, 4. In the fourth position, that year thing is getting started. So every time it is starting at fourth position. So you can mention the fourth. And how many letters you want from the fourth position? So 2020 is of 4 letters. So we need 4 letters. So say OK and use this mid function. Okay, so you'll get the mid of those mid values from this ID. Okay, so not only like this, so there is only one simple way is also available. Just right click on this order ID. Okay, so you can go to transform and do a split. So split will do according to how it is getting separated. So basically it is getting separated with a dash symbol. So if you click on transform and click on split, so it will automatically do all these 3 splits. So you can directly use these 3 columns. So whatever I have created using left, right, and mid function, so Tableau will automatically has created using these functions. Okay, so you don't need to write left, right, and mid functions, so you can directly split. So when there is no common point to separate, so then you can use left, right, and mid functions where you can mention the number of letters. But split is a it will only do based on the how it is getting splitted. So there is a common point, dash is available in this order ID. So Tableau can understand. So there is a separation dash or some value is there, some character is there available to distribute or to make it a separation. So there is a dash available. So we can do it. We can do a split. So that's about left, right, and mid function and split. And now let's see. Okay, so now we'll see how to create date calculations. Okay, before continuing to this, so any questions? Okay. Divya, can you tell me about replace function, what it will do? Yeah, okay, perfect. Mhm. Yeah. So in a column, if you want to replace, let's say @gmail.com to @yahoo.com. So if you want to change something, we can use it. Yeah. Uh, Rakib, can you tell me about space function? Rakib is not on. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, sure. Mhm. Yeah, correct. So in that we can specify the number. So instead of manually entering the spaces, you can specify the number of spaces that you want and you can see it. Okay, so let's continue to the next slide. Okay, so date calculations is very important. So whenever we enter date, the Tableau will understand. So we have to enter date in a date format. So basically, it will understand only DDMM YYY or MMDD Only these 2 formats Tableau will understand. So either it has to be DDMM or MMDD. So you can't have same different formats in one column. So that might be confusing, and the Tableau might throw you error. So if you have different formats in one column. So now I'll take one type of data. So this is actually the date format. 31 by 2023. Okay, and save this file. And let me refresh this session 9 file. So now currently it doesn't have this date column. So whenever I refresh, so now I got this date column. Okay, so basically, if you have date in date format, there are a lot of things that we can do in Tableau. So the first best thing what we can do is, so we can do hierarchy. So I'll tell you what hierarchy in date. So we can do a drill down from year to quarter, quarter to month, month to week, day, and time also. So if you have time also in the date, in this currently I have not entered any time. So in time, so we'll have date and time format also. So you can drill down from year, quarter, month, week, and day like this. So whenever I drop, so by default I can see year, and there is a icon you can see where you can expand and collapse. So now I'll try expanding this. So I can see the quarters. So the date I have entered December, November, and May. So December belongs to Q4, and November also belongs to Q4, and this May belongs to Q2. So that information you can see automatically. So we have not entered any quarter details, but Tableau will understand. And so if you are giving it as a date format, so these things will Tableau automatically create these things. And I want to more expand this. So December, November. So I have not entered these names also. December, November, May, I have not entered. And these are the advantages that we will get if you have date in date format, and days you can see it. Okay, so not only this, so I will show you the multiple advantages of having date in date format. So let's go to this sample superstore database and see. Okay, so here we will have two types of information. So here we have year, quarter, month, day. So below also we have year, quarter, month, week number. So I will tell you how this can be helpful. So these two are different. So depending on the situation, we use these things. So this upper part is different and this lower part is different. Okay, so we will discuss about each and every one. And so this is basically date part. Okay, this uses date part function, and we will have year, quarter, month, day here, and this uses date trunc function. So now let's see one by one how we can make use of that thing. And I will put sales also here. So by default, whenever you take date dimension, that will be in discrete mode. So date dimension will be in discrete mode. Because it's a dimension. So whatever dimensions that you pull in, so that will be in discrete mode first of all. So basically it has taken this one. So let's see what is the function that is written. You can see date part. So as I have shown it here, so all this 5 uses this date part function. So if you type in or so you can see this date part function is getting used, and there are 4 or 5 types of date parts are available. So I'll just write it down here. Yeah, so these are the date parts. You can see year, quarter, month, week. So every time you need to write. So while writing the calculation, this has to be in small letters. Okay, so even if you see in this function, okay, this is written as small letters only. What if I write caps? This function won't work. Okay, so every time this date parts, whichever in the calculation, you have to use these date parts only in small letters. Only in small letters. Then only calculations will work. So otherwise, if you type it caps letters, it won't work. So I'll change this to normal letters. So this is the syntax basically. So you can't use capital letters. So that is about this year, and let's try changing it to the below one. So there is no difference in this year and this year. There is no difference. It's basically converted to continuous, and let's make it discrete and just type in. This uses date trunc function. Okay, so as shown here, this uses date trunc function, and mostly there is no difference between this year and this year. So basically, it is showing you year-wise information. What is the year-wise sales that you have? So both are showing same value. So there is a difference when you are trying to show quarter-wise data. Okay, so this is showing you Q1 for all the years, Q2 for all years, Q3 for all years. Okay, so this is, I will put two different, so this is for date part, and I'll make it, this is for date trunk. Okay, so date part is in green. So just to represent, I'm just making it as green and all. Date trunk, I have colored it as red. Okay, so date part, so I'll just, this is now date. So it uses a function called date trunk. So let me change it to quarter here. Okay, and make it discrete. Okay, so date trunk will be a combination of year and quarter. Okay, so I'll just type in here. So date trunk is a combination of year and quarter. Okay, what about this date part? It is just the quarter, only quarter. Quarter of all years. All years will be combined, you can't see that. So let's put it as only quarter so that you will not get confused. Okay, so here you can see in date rank, you can see 2020 Q1, 2020 Q2, all years and quarters you can see. But in date part, so whenever I have selected this first quarter, I mean this the top one, so I can able to see Q1 and Q2. But if you want to know whether it is giving all the years information or not, so let's put order date year again. Okay, basically Q1 is consisting of all 4 years information. So all 4 years quarters, 2020 Q1, 2020 Q2, I mean 2021 Q1, 2022 Q1, all years value will be stored as 366493. Okay, so this is just showing the all the years quarters. And here you can see year and quarter separately. Okay, so now let's make it the month. Okay, month also for date part it is same. It will show you month details for all the years. So January for all the in all the years, what is the value for January? It will sum up all the values of January in all the years. So to see that you can use, okay, so it is summing up all the years data for January. And when you do in date trunk, it is a combination of year and month. It is a combination of year and. So let's only month. So that is about only month. The top one will give you about only month, and let's see for The below one is a combination of month and year. Month and year. Okay, so basically the syntax for this one is date trunc. Date trunc. Here you can mention year or month, year, quarter, month, week, day. So here you can use any of the one. You can use year, quarter, month, or week or day. You can use any one and mention that order date. Okay, so this is a syntax for date trunc. And now I will write the syntax for this date part. So it's only the difference is date part you will use. Date part of, and in syntax you can use year, quarter, or month. So this Tableau will automatically write this syntax. So I'm just telling you, you can use. So this is the syntax that Tableau is gonna write. So put a comma and write the order date. Yeah, so this is about date part and this is about date trunc. So every time date trunc is a combination of year and month, or combination of year and quarter, combination of year and week number, like that. Now let's see for other combination. So day. Okay, so day of all the months of all the years. And here if I select day, so here we have one more option, week number as well. So let's select day, week number. I'll explain it later. Okay, so it's a combination of day, month, and year. But here you can see only days, but days of all the months and years. It will, I mean, it will in the backend, it will just store the all the years and months data in that particular day. So all the months and years will have day one in their data, and whatever the value it is there, it will show. So to see that information, I will put this order date. So one date from all the years, and I will also put month. I'll put the month as well. Month. Yeah. So basically, wherever there is one in all the months and years, it's a combination of sum of all these things. Okay, so to see the information in a different manner, so there are two ways. Here you can see in each and every day what is the value. So this is giving you in what all the years, what all the months, what is the value in all the years and in all the months. So I'll just write it over here. This will basically store only month, only day. So in that day, it will store the sum of all the months and years. But it will show only day. It will show only day, but it will store the sum of all the months and the years in that particular day. Now we'll see for this one. It's a combination of month, day, month, and year. So here you can see directly. So whenever I have selected day here, so here I can say that particular day and what is the month and what is the year. It's a combination of day, month, and year. Okay, now we'll see what is week. Okay, so for every week there is a value. So, and we can see when it is starting. So take default properties. and go to date format. So every time this day is getting started at 29th December, let's take 2023, 24 December, let's see. 24 December 2023. So in this, the week is starting at every Sunday and ending at every Saturday. Okay, so Sunday to Saturday, there is 1 week, and whatever is the value of sales that we can see. And this is a combination of week, year, and month. So that is a combination of week, year, and month. Combination of week, year, and month. Okay, to see the data in a different way. Okay, so to see the data in a different way, we use these two different ways. So the green and red you see. So this is one way of representation of dates, and this is other way of representation of dates. Here is it is a combination of years, quarters, and months and days. And here you can see quarters separately, months separately, and days separately. So that's about day. And now let's see. And we also have weekdays and all. So Sunday, every Sunday value will get stored, and for all the months and years that you can see. And let's go here. So here we have only like week numbers, so we can't select this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday thing here. And we also have date part, weekdays and all. Say okay. Yeah, Sunday, Monday also we can see, but still it is taking that date part. Okay. So whenever it is taking date part, basically that means it will only show that particular date, but it is a combination of values that is showing what is the Sunday value in all the years, all the months, and all the weeks. So that will store all the information. So how we can determine that? So all the years will be stored, all the Sundays of all the years will be stored here. And let's make one more. And make it as quarter. Yeah, all the quarters, or you can just mention the month. So this way we can make use of this order date. So whenever the date is in date format, we can use it for lot of things where you can show the data in a different way, where you can see in these many formats. Yeah, so I'll just take a pause if you have any questions. Okay. Okay, so we'll go to next slides. So these are the ways that you can drill down from higher level to lower level: year, order date, year, quarter, month. So let's see. So how we can use this date in date format. So sometimes we might not get date in normal date formats, let's say non-date. So if we are having something like this, yeah. So sometimes you might get data like this. So what if you get data like this, and how we can convert? So not only we can make different types of visualizations. So there are multiple calculations that we can write. So for date itself, there are many calculations. So date add, date diff, date name. So date name is something where you can mention this month, quarter, week, so that it will tell you. So I'll tell you about each and every function separately. So for now, I will show you how you can convert some date which is coming as a non-date. So I have added one column here, which is coming as a string. So Jan 2022, March 2023, this is not in a proper date format. So for Tableau or any Oracle or SQL databases, if your date has to be in a date format, so MMDDYY or DDMMYY, it has to be. So then only Tableau or SQL Server or any, even in the Excel also, we will not be able to use the date advantages. See, I have entered date in this date format. So you can see years, months and all. So even Excel can understand the date format. But if you give it as a string, it will just show you the string values. So it will not understand this is a date format and you have to show year, quarter, month and those details. So if you give it in a proper format, then we can use the advantages of that particular date. Okay, so now this particular thing is not a date format, but so that's the reason we can't use the advantages of date. So I'll just extract, do a refresh. Okay, yeah. So now this is coming as a string. So if you are taking date, so that will be shown with an icon called calendar. And if it is a string, you'll get it as a ABC. So you can't have all the advantages what we have discussed. So you can't have this thing. So this will not appear if is coming as a string. Okay, so I can't make any date calculations or I can't use those functions. So to do that, I need to use a function called date parse. Okay, so I need to convert this string into date. So how we can convert that into a string? So use the date parse function and tell Tableau that this is in this format. This is in MMYYYY format. Okay, and so which column is in this format? Non-date. Okay, so I'm telling Tableau that this is in this format. Please convert it to date format. So by using this syntax, we can convert into date format. Now let's see. Okay, so this is converted. Okay, now you can see date. So whether it is giving the right values or not, we need to confirm by selecting this and make it discrete. Yeah, so it is also giving the same information, April 2021, 2022. So this way we can make use, now we can create all the date type of functions where you want to see the quarter details. So earlier we don't have this uh, quarter information, whether it belongs to which quarter or which year, all those details we were not able to fetch it. So by converting this into date format, so we are by just one click we were able to know which quarter it belongs to. So this belongs to Q2 quarter and this belongs to Q1 quarter. So all those informations will be available. So that's how we can convert that into a date. And yeah, let's take order ID, order date. Okay, so order date can also be discrete or continuous. So this is the only date, only dimension that we can convert into continuous mode. Okay, so other dimensions cannot be converted into continuous mode. So in continuous mode, what we will have axis. So with order date only, we can have axis. So just click on this and make it continuous. So by making it as continuous, you can see the axis. And let's say sales Yeah, you can see this data coming. So you can see x-axis and y-axis, and you can use reference lines also. So if you want to see for, let's say, year of order date minimum is 2019 and maximum is 2024. So let's put, yeah, for minimum you will get a line and say edit reference line, or if you want to see for maximum, what is the maximum value? 2023. Click on this. Yeah, so this way you can see the reference line as well. So only the order date that we can convert into continuous mode. For rest of the yeah, for measures it's anyways there. In measures it can be continuous or discrete. But in dimensions only, so dimensions are mostly all dimensions, all dimensions except date are discrete. Okay, so all dimensions except date are discrete. Only date dimension can be in discrete or continuous. Okay, so this way we can make use of date. Um, and let's see some more differences. So let's go to more here. So let's convert into week number. So there are 52 or 53 weeks in our years. So in week 1, what is the sum of sales? What is the sum of sales? So when I say week 1, it is week 1 of all the years. All the years data will be stored. So I can see that by putting order date. All the years week 1. So there week 1 will be there in all the years. And what is the value in 2020? 305, 1932. So all the years will be stored in week 1, week 2, week 3 like this. And let's go to weekday. Weekday is basically Sunday of all the months, Sunday of all the years. Okay, Sunday in all the months, all the years, value will be stored in this. And now let's see, go to here. So we can do customization. So we can select all this weekdays. So we have seen years, quarters, months, and days. Week numbers, weekdays also we have seen. And here you can see month and year. So month and year is a combination of month and year together. So this is basically date trunc function. Or this has used a different function. So it is combining date parts. Or you can say this thing. So we have seen in our calculation. So it's, as I said, it's a combination of month and year. So you can use this thing. Otherwise, you can combine these two, where it is showing. So here you can take this month and year. Basically, you need to combine two calculations in this. So you can see year plus date part month. Or instead of that, you can directly select this one, which will give you year and quarter combination, year and month combination. Make it discrete. So basically, both are same. So here you can directly specify. So if you want to see month and year, you can select here, or my month, day and year, you can select this. And go here and select custom and select ISO years. So basically, this is giving you year data only. So what is the value for that particular year that we can see. And let's see ISO quarters. Say okay. So this is basically about all the quarters in all the years. So that's how we can make use of these functions. So that's about date functions and all. So in the next session, we'll see how to use this in filters. In filters also, it will show you a lot of functions, lot of abilities that we have. So I'll just, uh, if you put order date, so you have a lot of things. So we'll see it in the next session, how we can use it as years, quarters, and we can use it, the combination as well, month and year, month, day and year, individual dates also we can filter. So this we will see in the next session. Any questions? Okay. Himanshu, can you tell me what is the difference between date trunk and date part? Okay. Yeah, other one which will show you separately for quarter, month, and days. Yeah. Okay, so Divya, can you tell me about starts with function? Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's all this for this session. So we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, thank you.